This is Stacy Marshall with Printwear Magazine.
Matt Vassallo with the WrhinstoneWorld.com.
Richard Greaves with ScreenMaking.com.
Brian Walker with RTP Apparel.
This is Peter Walsh with M&R, and you're listening to the Two Regular Guys podcast.
Podcast hosted by
Terry Combs.
Terry Combs.
Terry Combs.
And
Aaron Montgomery.
Aaron Montgomery.
Aaron Montgomery.
Keep on listening.
I don't know if these guys are that regular.
Welcome to the show. It is Friday, August 6th, 2021. I'm Terry Combs, and you can find me at terrycombs.com.
And I'm Aaron Montgomery, and you can find me at oursuccessgroup.com. And today, Terry and I are going to be talking about building relationships in a long-distance world. I feel like, we're long-distance dating here, Terry. But
and it looks like your room has like a permanent lightning strike going on in the background.
It does, yes. I am sitting in a college kid's room at my wife's aunt's house. So we're visiting family up here in northern Minnesota right now on Otter Tail Lake. Gorgeous out there. So get to set up mobile here, but she works from home, so internet's good. So I think we're going to have a good show here, Terry. So
well, yeah, don't look between the mattress and the box springs. Don't look, all the places you hid stuff when you were in college or high school.
Exactly. I will. I'll be staying right here, and it's very nice of their hospitality. So excited to be able to do this though here, because this is going to be a good one. Terry, you've put together a nice one here. We're going to talk about those kind of business relationships, how there are people that you will do business with that you will never meet face to face. So how do you build the same kind of trust relationship that you would have when you are able to do that face to face business with people? So looking forward to this chat here this morning, Terry. And I guess we should say hi to some regulators too. Looks like we've got lots tuning in here. So Cindy, good morning. And Jerry, hello. And Christine, good morning. And Kathleen checking in. And we got Sandy, Eric in the comments as usual, back making it happen. Richard, good morning. And Beth checking in. Good morning to you. Let's see here. We've got Jeff and Adam Fuller checking in. So, and then Kim Johnson checking in, Terry. So I don't know what the requirements are today for stories. How are we on that?
I think it's usual rules. Please stop repeating every story that you've ever told.
Okay. So is that just a standing rule? That's a standing rule. Is that?
I know it's really hampering my ability to do this show. So
this could be the last year. I don't know. We're just kidding.
And that's it. That's the last story I got.
And I'm out. Mic drop. Love it. Todd, good morning. Good to see you here. I got to spend time with Todd and Eric face to face in Dax, Minnesota recently. So we'll talk about that in just a moment. But we also have Dale checking in. Good morning, Dale. And good morning to Martha. So, Terry, should we start then with Dax?
Yeah, let's do. You and Eric were both there. And how was it? What happened?
Yeah, I mean, it was, a little bit different. Tuesday, Wednesday show at the Treasure Island Casino. Terry, you've been there, so you're familiar. It's kind of out in the middle of, there's really nothing else around, so you don't leave the island, so to speak, there. And right. It's also, so being Tuesday, Wednesday, it was a little bit different because they're having a hard time getting staffs back and going there again. So most of the stuff was closed. Wow. There wasn't actually a whole lot open. The water park was closed. The bowling alley was closed. The arcade was closed. Most of the that back bar closed. The other Elements bar closed. So there was not a whole lot going on unless you were playing slots or gambling.
How about that little store in the lobby where they sell those tall boy Miller Genuine Drafts? Was it open?
That was open. So it was. So that was a little bit of a challenge. Now Scott and Margie were able to still make the party happen, so we were able to get some bowling in and have a good time.
Oh, great!
Yeah, it was awesome. The usual Dax hospitality was in full swing as usual. So that was awesome. Great food, great time. Even at the towards the end of the bowling, David Haynes from CorralTrainer.com and Scott Ritter had a push-up contest. And yes, it was awesome. Scott did win, just FYI. So it was really great. So yeah, that part was a little bit different. The vendors were, again, a little sparse, and but there were lots of people there, good traffic, really great conversations. The common comment that we were getting was the fact that because there was less people there, people just felt more comfortable, more open to just having, I mean, I know we had a couple of situations, not situations like a bad thing, a couple of opportunities. There was at least a couple people that we talked to for a good solid 45 minutes and didn't feel rushed into like, okay, there's 5 people waiting behind you and we need to.
Did they want to talk for 45 minutes, or would you just not let them help them out of the couch?
I'm pretty sure it was my fault, but
I know you need help getting out of the couch. But let me just tell you one more thing.
Yeah, let me talk to you about one more thing. So anyhow, so I think all in all, it was a very good show. Given the circumstances, we'd still love to see more vendors there. I know that there's new challenges, and we'll talk a little bit more about that in a second too. But this is your opportunity to see people face to face. We're going to talk about how to do it without that today, but I still don't think that there's a replacement, especially in our industry when you need to kind of touch and feel things and, with equipment and stuff like that. So I think we need to figure out a way to make it work, whether if we got to wear masks, let's wear masks. I don't, whatever that is. So that's a whole different story, but let me catch a couple of comments here. So Todd said, good to see Eric isn't on the lam. Had a little rental car snafu there. So, and Eric said, scenic Red Wing, Minnesota. It's actually, it is gorgeous out there, but it's just, it's really on an island. So very good point, Eric.
And the first time you go, it's like I always fly in, and so you go south from the airport, and you're getting further and further into nowhere. Going, this can't be right. There's no casino out here.
Yeah.
And then up out of the distance, there it is.
Yeah, and it's a really nice big. In fact, they've got a brand new hotel wing that we were staying in. So rooms are really nice, and they're all set up facility, for a huge. Yeah, they're all set up for like some huge event. They've got their outdoor amphitheater all set up. Apparently, Luke Bryant is supposed to be there on September 3rd. So,
Aaron, if you walk down there, like a Hall of Fame of all the people that have performed there, they get top talent in there regularly. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, exactly. So, Lisa asked, compared to KC as far as vendor consumer vibe. I think it was probably a little lighter. I think, still a good vibe. I still think people were excited to kind of get back together. I know on Tuesday night, we kind of were able to get together with friends and just have that opportunity to just kind of blow off steam and enjoy just kind of having some fun together. So that was nice. There were less attendees there than I think we all would have liked. Again, we all knew though that a Tuesday, Wednesday, kind of a little bit out of the main Minneapolis area was going to be a little bit more of a challenge for folks. So I think given all the circumstances, it was a great show. And then, so we'll just see kind of, DAX Chicago is supposed to be really great. There's already more exhibitors signed up and things like that, but with everything going on here, Terry, that's starting to change a little bit too. So we'll see. There's still some spaces available, but I know that there's some nerves out there about what's going on with the Delta variant and things like that. So I actually had an opportunity to yesterday, before we came up here to Ottertail, I actually went to Scott and Margie's house. They were very gracious, cooked us lunch, showed us around. We got to spend a couple hours with them. It was really great to kind of just have an opportunity to chat, find out what's going on, find out what they're working, because they've got to think about what happens in 2022. If they go back to their regular scheduled time, that's 6 months from now.
I was going to say, because they're the early shows. So
yeah, exactly. So you don't, that's not something that you go, oh, January, how are we going to figure this out? No, they need to start, making decisions about what's going to happen in, February, March, and April of next year. So, I any way we can support them, I'm all about it, because I know they've got some challenges ahead of them. All the show people, even stuff coming up here, we'll talk about in a moment. So that's my quick, not quick, but semi-quick reply to Lisa there. Todd said, we made it into Red Wing after the show. Nice little town. It is a nice little town. Christine said that there are some decent restaurants in Red Wing. So, and then
do they have catch of the day there? And today it's, I don't know, moose or
I don't know. They might. I'm sure there's some. You can get some fun stuff there for sure. So
I know we have a lot of Minnesota listeners, so I hope you're laughing.
Yeah. Terry's trying to tell jokes, not trying to offend. Just
it's always been that way. I was never trying to offend.
All right, let's see what else we got in the comments here, Terry, before we get into some of the other stuff here. We got Bevy Jean. Good morning from the UP, Upper Peninsula, for those of you not familiar. So up here in the northern part of the country, like I am right now.
Right.
And then Adam Fuller says we need more push-up competitions. So,
I'd be like that guy that that team that lets go of the rope in the tug of war. I just get down on the floor and I just stay right there.
Yeah, that's pretty much where I am too. After all the volleyball that I play, my shoulders don't do push-ups. So, all right, what else do we get here? Yeah, Todd said that some of the conversations that we had there was that some of the attendees were really surprised that certain vendors weren't there. It just definitely, I think people are excited to get back out and see the people that they do business with again. And when they're not there, it does shock them a little bit. I as a sublimation guy, I was a little bit disappointed that there was zero sublimation people there. It wasn't a single sublimation machine on the floor.
We've talked about this, off microphone several times over the last few months, the three of us, and I think it's the willingness to come back out to shows has been much stronger among the attendees, but also it's a lot easier as an attendee. Sometimes it's a matter of hopping in your car, driving 2 hours, seeing the show, hopping back in your car. Whereas a vendor, they've got to ship in supplies, they've got to get hotel rooms, they've got to get flights, they've got to do this, they've got to do that. With always that 900-pound rock hanging above your head, waiting to see if it's going to drop, when all of a sudden we hear something like Delta variant.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
It's tough.
I know it is tough, and there is no easy answers, for sure. And so I get it. It's just, figure out a way. I mean, we're in Minnesota, which is Johnson Plastics, backyard basically. And so I get that everybody's got things going on, but, just feel like, figure out a way. I don't know. We've got a car full of stuff. We drove from St. Louis to get there.
Yeah. Jeff Morgenthaler and I have always been, when we talk about doing trade shows or not doing trade shows, at like an Equipment Zone. And when Equipment Zone goes, well, it's going to cost $58,000 to do this show. Yeah. And Jeff and I, we're always like, well, just the two of us will go. Just get a 10x10. We should just be there. Just have a 10x10. We'll have a printer. We'll have a heat press. We'll ship in pre-treated shirts. Let's just be there. And I think there should be a little bit more of that attitude among the vendors.
Yeah,
we don't care if you don't have your 20x30 booth. Just make a presence, be there, and talk to some folks. Shake hands if you're willing. There's lots of hand sanitizer available.
Yeah,
exactly. And Aaron, you know this, and Eric knows as well. Man, as soon as you start seeing the people that you know from the industry, nobody wanted to shake hands. Everybody wanted to hug you. You know, so.
I did a lot of hugging, and like you said, there's plenty of hand sanitizers. Some people were wearing masks, some people weren't, and nobody had any issue one way or the other. Everybody was, everybody just, I think, we're just happy to be back in a opportunity to see each other face to face, whether that's, socially distanced or what. There was never any. I was always concerned once we started coming back that there would kind of be this weirdness of figuring out, do you shake hands? Do you not? Do you hug?
Yeah.
Do you not? And I think it just, you kind of get the vibe right away where people are at, and everybody's just there to make people feel comfortable and do what we're there to do, and connect and build relationships and then go from there. So,
yeah. And I went to the Irving show, which was, I think, the first regular show of our industry. Right. And man, it was just like that. There were masks. I remember Clay had like a plexiglass screen up in his booth so he could have conversations with people from behind the glass. And within 2 hours, that got pushed aside. The masks were coming off. Everybody's like, okay, we're all good here. We're all cool.
Yeah. And I think as long as everybody's in that mindset, everybody's got their own place where they feel comfortable, and let's just meet everybody where they're at, but I think Dale says, has a good comment here based on what you were talking about there. Terry says, start small and build out, but be there. So, I'm in that same boat. Do your best to, let me get a couple other comments here, Terry, real quick. Let's see here. Christine says, yeah, there's a really good restaurant called Oliver's that has amazing pasta, but no moose though. So Terry,
I don't even really know if they're moose in Minnesota.
And then
I know they're deer.
That's right. David said, somebody say push-ups. Yes, David. We already discussed the push-up competition. I was very impressed with David's output of push-ups, but Scott Ritter is just a machine. So, all right. Well, let's see here. I'm not sure. Eric, is it me or is it Terry? Eric still hears me. Oh, there we go.
I could hear everything. I just saw the spinning wheel. So
okay, all right. So
there's lots of construction in my area, so my internet has been spotty sometimes. So.
Yep. All right. Let's see here. Let's get a couple of other comments here. Tanya said, I really wanted to come, but holy slam the last 2 weeks. And I get that, people, because of everything having to be moved, this obviously is not the ideal time for people in their busy season a lot of times. So
and that's something we haven't talked about. The variable of a lot of people's businesses have really picked up in a big way. You know, it would have been easier for them 8 months ago to go to this show because nothing was happening for a lot of people. So as my mom would say, make hay while the sun shines.
That's right. Make hay while the sun shines. Get while the getting's good. All right. So Tanya says, I think it's the same with a lot of things lately. Our fair is usually huge, and we've heard that a lot of vendors are bowing out this year. We're thrilled to be involved this year. So yeah, again, opportunities.
Her fair's just going to be fair.
fair. Let's see here.
That was not the dad joke. I've got a better one.
No, it's coming, folks. So stay tuned. Eric says same sort of comments to educators. Lisa, some expect that you are fully covered to fly out, stay, and profit when you teach. Though Dax is tops and taking care of educators, no show affords that. We have to love what we do. Oh yeah, because I missed Lisa's comment earlier. Thank you, Eric. Funny home market comment was, you pay to have a booth here? ? People don't understand that there's expenses involved. So yes, there are. Like Terry said, when you threw out a $58,000 number, I wonder if that kind of shocks some people, but that's not, if you're doing a 20 by 30, that's probably a minimum number, I would think.
Oh yeah, a show like Impressions Expo Long Beach coming up in January. Somebody with a decent sized booth, you're probably dropping $150,000.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. When I was doing a lot more trade shows and doing a lot bigger booths and staff and equipment and all that kind of fun stuff, minimum budget per show was about $20,000. So
yeah.
Anyhow, all right. So
and that's why, based on last week's show, we really don't want to teach you how to use Photoshop in the booth. Well. With
good
those
point.
kind of numbers.
Good point. All right. Let's see here. Christine says, at Applique Getaway, we had people wearing masks and people who didn't, tons of hand sanitizer, and a little more asking if people were comfortable hugging. which most were. It all worked well. Yep, absolutely. So
the only reason they were wearing masks, Christine, was because they had this beautiful applique on it, and so my gosh, I'm wearing it.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Nice. And then Dale getting a head start on the dad jokes here, if we can. You heard about the optometrist who fell into his equipment. He made a spectacle of himself.
Wow, that's pretty good.
Yeah. All right, Terry. Well, so we talked about DAX. We've also kind of alluded to some of the other upcoming shows. What's on the horizon here, and what are your thoughts?
Well, and this whole Delta variant thing, I think that the whole country, the whole world's thrown into confusion again. What's happening now? And look at the shows we have coming up next week. Graphics Pro Expo in Long Beach, California. California's already talking about lockdowns again and things like that. Impressions Expo, Atlantic City, New Jersey. Again, New Jersey, a hotbed of COVID, and at the same time, jumping right into you can't do this and you can't do that, and you have to wear a mask and no crowds and things like that. And then DAX Chicagoland at the end of this month. Again, Chicago, Cook County. All three of those places have potential of saying, nope, sorry. So I don't have any answers. I started yesterday to reach out to each of the shows for a comment, and I thought they're not going to want to comment right now. They don't want to plant any seeds that this might go awry. But I'm concerned. We've all heard rumblings of people, vendors possibly pulling out of events. So, and certainly there are lots of vendors who never signed up in the first place for like Impressions Expo Atlantic City and some of the big vendors that you'd expect to see there. They flat out said, we're not doing anything this year until maybe Printing United. I've heard people say we're not doing anything until Impressions Expo Long Beach in January. So it's just, I felt like we were on a positive upward path, and then all of a sudden all you hear is Delta variant, and everything is just upside down again, like it was about a year ago now. So I read about what was a big food services show canceling in Orlando, at the Orange County Convention Center, and where we're all going in October.
So and like you said, Terry, the shows, they're doing everything possible. I mean, they've checked all the boxes. They've got safety plans. They are working double time to make sure that they can have their events safely, and that people are able to have these in-person events. So yes, we're not trying to plant any seeds. My trips, my travel plans are booked, and
mine as well.
Plan to keep them that way, and do the best that we can, and just be there, support. I actually signed up for an extra booth space in Chicagoland. Nice. So at Tinley Park, so we'll have a 10 by 20 instead of the 10 by 10 that we started. It just felt like we needed a little more space to be able to hang out with people, and so with you and Eric being there too, we may even throw a little two regular guys booth area in there, maybe do a little live recording. So so we're in no way trying to plant any seeds but we need to have these conversations. We need to, maybe there's a great idea out there. Jerry says, what are pros and cons of virtual shows? I love the virtual training, and I love the virtual training in a certain sense too. I truly believe that our industry, because of the fact that, how many times do we show up and we look at a shirt and everybody does this? We stretch the hell out of it, right? No consumers do that, but that's our test, right? We have to touch and feel these things. We have to see it in action. There's only so much you can do at this depth, right? So
Aaron, and how many people are new to the industry over the last 18 months who've never experienced a trade show, or they want to get into the business and they've never even walked by a booth that had a sublimation printer in it that they could take a peek at. So that's pretty tough when you don't have the opportunity to touch and feel, kick the tires kind of thing.
Yeah. Well, and heck, even in talking to people at some of the live trade shows, you could kind of tell that the newer folks that are just into this, they'd seen a virtual, they'd done kind of this, and they were not real clear on some certain things that, you would think that would kind of be a normal deal. But I think that Todd makes a point here. I think it's easier to get distracted with virtual trainings versus in person. I can't tell you how many times, you saw some event where, maybe it was Zoom and you got people on camera and you're going, do they not realize that they're on camera? Like sleeping on a couch or whatever. It's like, there's certainly, it's nice to have that virtual because you can anybody can get it anywhere, but I don't think you're as engaged. I don't think you're learning as much. I mean, to be able to have that conversation when I'm having a face-to-face conversation with somebody and I say something, I can tell right away if they get it, if I need to go deeper, if I need to explain it, right? And they can tell if I'm understanding what they're trying to ask me or vice versa. So,
right. And Aaron, look at the seminars we do. All the three of us, the seminars we do, you read the crowd, and I'm sure you guys have done this. I've certainly done it. I can tell you guys didn't get that. Let me explain that a little further. But in a virtual scenario, it's the same presentation. It's just not us being able to see their eyes going, they don't understand what I'm talking about here. Yeah. Let me rephrase this. Maybe I'm using too much industry jargon, and that's another issue with the virtual thing. A lot of folks, especially who are not professional presenters, will use terminology that maybe a new person they don't even know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And then Lisa makes another good comment here, Terry. She says consumers really need to support virtual trainings, just like in-person shows, if they want them to take place. Yes, there is definitely something to be said there. We talked about the expenses of going to these live shows. Well, there's also expenses and time and energy that goes into the virtual stuff too. So if you just think that all that should be free on YouTube, you get what you pay for, right? Is that? I think that's
at a live event, if my mic doesn't work, I just take it off and I go stand in the middle of the crowd. You can't do that virtual. It's just you there moving your lips.
Yeah, that's true. Yes, the challenges of virtual training. So, yes. Ramona says this is a hands-on business, and there are things that you need to see up close and have hands on it. And then Dale says you can't get all the visual cues when you're on Zoom. Very, very good point. Todd, I agree, but we kind of know we bring really good dad jokes to the table, so we don't have to, right? He says hard to tell how good your dad jokes are virtually.
Well, that's the beauty. Exactly. We already know how good they are.
We already know. And then Sandy from Honeybee Creation says, I agree with the engagement. I have trouble with virtual events. I understand their benefits, but I'm in person all the way. There we go. Yeah. Okay. And I just,
for us, for over the last 18 months, it's all we had, it's that or nothing. So
yeah, exactly. But I think when there's an opportunity to support an in-person event, I think it's important that we all kind of try to make the best choices for you, but at the same time realize that as humans, we need that in-person contact as best we can. So, all right. So let's see here, Terry. I think we've pretty much hit this topic and maybe even beat it to death. Are we good there?
I think it's important, though. I think, probably 16, 18 months ago, we were giving weekly updates on what was happening. I think we're probably back to that. I think every week we're going to be having a conversation at the top of the show about what's happening with different shows and different events, that sort of thing. So. Yeah,
totally. Yep. All right. Well, so we'll keep that up. Terry's been fantastic about kind of keeping in touch with the shows when it's right. So we'll leave that to your discretion, Terry. But stay tuned for Terry's trade show update segment again. Terry says,
"Can we have an intro? Trade show update."
We can do that, absolutely. And then Terry's just trying to keep his big book of travels the big book of travels instead of big inventions. Yeah.
exactly. I have flights booked in here. Now I just hope we get to take them.
Yeah, totally. All right. Well, let's see here. We got another news item before we actually get into the meat of our show here, Terry. So let's get to that. Next Level founder Joe Smisoli to retire, and Randy Hales appointed as successor is the breaking news, and reported by Graphics Pro magazine. Blank apparel manufacturer Next Level Apparel announced that Joe Smisoli, founder and chief executive officer, will retire as CEO effective August 8th. Was that tomorrow? Sunday?
Sunday, yeah.
Whatever that date is, August 8th. And Joe continues to serve on Next Level's board of managers and will remain a significant shareholder in the business. In November 2020, the board appointed Randy Hales as Next Level's co-CEO as part of a 2018 succession plan. So you can read more about that at the bit.ly link that you see up there on the show, or it will be in our show notes after the fact as well. So that's the news, Terry. Halfway in, and we've got the news covered. But here's where we're really supposed to be, Terry. This is the time for you to bring us a fantastic dad joke.
And I don't feel like that we have to read the audience, Todd. I feel good about this one. It's a brain teaser. I have a brain teaser for you guys today. You ready?
Awesome. I'm ready.
Okay. What do you get when you cross the Atlantic Ocean with the Titanic?
I don't know.
You get halfway. What do you get when you cross the Atlantic Ocean with the Titanic? And Eric, I could see you shaking your head, Eric. It's not too soon. It was 1912. Those people even if they all survived, they'd all still be dead. So, and in the movie, there looked like there was room on that floating door. I think that Jack could have hopped on there and he could have survived. So, I mean, I guess it would have been a different movie, but still, come on.
Not too soon. All right. Well, very good one. I agree. We don't need the virtual. We can understand that it was a great dad joke, so we're good. Thank you very much.
All right, Aaron. Before we go any further, hey, we want to thank everybody for joining the Two Regular Guys podcast. As always, we're looking for new guests. You can go to calendly.com/2, the number 2. Regular guys with any show ideas, and always, as I said, looking for new guests, new ideas. Even if you have a suggestion that something that for Aaron and I to talk about, we love to hear from you guys. What do you want to hear about? If you are listening to the podcast version, please share with your industry friends. Give us a review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, Amazon Podcast, or wherever you do your podcast listening. If you're watching live right now, please join us with, as you have been, join us with your comments and your questions.
Awesome. So just real quick before we get into hearing a quick word from Graphics Pro Expo here, Letty has a follow-up joke here that I think is very timely. Where does the ship go when it's sick? To the dock. All right. And Todd said that joke sunk. All right. And Adam, the dad joke form is just email us info@tworegularguys.com, or you can tag us on social media, wherever. Just, get it to us. We'll get it in there. We're always looking for good dad jokes. So, all right. Well, let's quickly here, Terry, with, like you said, Long Beach, Graphics Pro Expo, Long Beach coming up August 12th through the 14th. Let's hear a quick word from Graphics Pro Expo.
The NBM show is now Graphics Pro Expo. Graphics Pro Expo gives you access to the awards and personalization, apparel decorating, and sign and digital graphics markets all under one roof. Meet with top suppliers and manufacturers, source hundreds of products, and train with experts for a personalized experience geared toward your business. Graphics Pro Expo is headed toward a city near you in 2021. First up is Irving, Texas, May 13th through 15th. Indianapolis featuring RapsCon, June 15th through the 17th. Meadowlands, New Jersey, co-located with the NSSA Northeast Sign Expo, July 15th through 16th. Long Beach, California, August 12th through the 14th. Pittsburgh, September 24th through the 25th. And Charlotte, North Carolina, October 29th through the 30th. Go to graphics-pro-expo.com to find out more, and we'll see you there.
All right. Well, again, take this opportunity. Everything's still a go as of right now. So get out there, support. If you're on the West Coast, perfect opportunity to get and see some stuff face to face. So should be a fantastic show out there. And then I'd like to thank Dale for getting everybody on the YouTube side. Click the like button. Definitely appreciate that. Like and subscribe, hit the bell, whatever the kids say these days, right? All right, Terry. Well, let's get into this building relationships with customers in a long distance world. It's one of these things, let's face it, it's in a world not so far away. We would talk to customers at the counter, right? We would be leaning on the counter, writing up the order, doing all that kind of stuff.
Exactly.
And we build that relationship by doing things like, hey, let's go to lunch, let's get a coffee, let's have some drinks. But today, and even I think once things are quote unquote over with COVID or whatever the case may be there, I think that there is going to be this hybrid scenario, with some face-to-face, but probably still lots of people that will never get to meet face-to-face. We'll never have those face-to-face encounters, Terry. So how do we deal with that?
Well, yeah, and Aaron, we have to keep in mind too that for some businesses, this is nothing new. There are lots of folks that we have as customers that don't necessarily go to trade shows and see us. They don't come to our open houses. They don't come to events. So, there are businesses out there, and it's with me. I sell product to a lot of customers I have never met face to face. Now, I always hope to see them at a trade show, and usually, if you're at a show and that customer comes, they usually come by just to shake your hand and say, "Hey, just want to meet you face to face," that sort of thing. But there maybe we need to take our lead from those types of businesses that are already kind of in that realm, and they got the jump on us, really.
Yeah.
But because they were already out there doing these types of things that you and I are going to talk about.
Yeah, exactly. Well, so let's talk about that then, Terry. I mean, like I said, some people maybe had a jump. I think, for the most part, people have done a really good job of figuring it out. And I think what, we're going to see is that there is this hybrid approach, but talk to us about, building these relationships. What are some things that stand out to you?
Yeah. And there's kind of a couple of there's three categories in my opinion. There's that customer that maybe you're a direct to garment person. Maybe you're a sublimation person. Maybe you're doing transfers. Maybe you're doing direct to film. There are those customers that are going to buy one shirt here and one shirt there, and so how do we keep them coming back? And one of those ways is showing them fresh ideas. Keeping in front of the customer. There's a company that every month I get an email, and it's not like, "Hey, buy our shirts." It's, "Look at this cool graphic," and usually it's something pretty clever. And I rarely open an email from them where I don't laugh out loud at this graphic that they have, and I'm pretty easy to please, but what a great idea to just, get right there in front of the customer. You've got they've already bought from you once. Just fire an email to them. Don't say, "Hey, buy for me, buy another shirt. Hey, I really need to make payroll. I need." Nobody needs to hear that, but something cool, something clever, that somebody would be interested in buying, and keep it in front of them.
Yeah, I agree with that, Terry. It's what I've discovered is people want to spend. Well, they don't want to. They get themselves caught spending all of their time out there trying to get new customers, and they don't realize that they actually have a gold mine sitting there in their current customer list, and they just need to build that relationship. And like you said, part of that building a relationship is reaching out to them, making sure that you've got a plan for follow up, and And like you said, it's not about saying, here's the latest thing to buy. And oh my God, I need to make payroll. Like you said, I like that. It is about what kind of value are you going to provide to them. Like you said, the value that you got with what you were talking about is that entertainment value and those kinds of things. So they might not buy every time, but you're going to hit the right chord with them at the right time if you continue to stay in front of them. So it costs us so much less dollar-wise to do business with an existing customer than it does to try to find new customers. Yet everybody seems to focus all of their efforts on, how do I get new customers? I need new customers. And so there's some need for that way if you want to grow. But I think you should probably first start with working on your existing customer base and getting more business from them, because they'll also turn into a really good referral source for you. And that can be even more beneficial than, again, Facebook ads and all this other pounding and getting new customers in, using your existing customers to also help you sell.
Yeah, where'd you get that shirt? I've said that to people before. Where did you get that? I'd love that, So, but and you're right, Aaron. If you don't pay attention to the customers you have, and you're gaining new customers, it's like running up the down escalator. You're losing customers off the bottom, and you're adding them on the top, and you're never getting anywhere. But and I'm gonna, we're gonna talk about this more than once, but. Make sure out there in social media showing those cool new graphics and new styles and things like that. And again, if it's nothing more than, hey, look at this or look at this shirt that I did for XYZ company, or look at this shirt I did for somebody's bachelorette party. And at no point do you say, hey, buy from me. Hey, are you having a bachelorette party? They already know if they are or not. So
yeah, I love it. That's perfect. Yeah, keep that fresh. Vic says, right on, Aaron. Plus marketing locally. There is business near you. Good point. Yep.
Absolutely.
So Terry, talk to us about some other ways that maybe we can keep ourselves as the go-to source for custom apparel and products. I feel like that's where we're at here.
Yeah, exactly. Well, one thing is kind of look at your calendar and remind people ahead of time that maybe you're near the Lake of the Ozarks. And so you need to promote that, Labor Day is coming up. It's going to be the last hurrah on the lake. Make sure that everybody on your boat, your whole crew, they all have shirts for the event. And you know what I'm saying? Thanksgiving, Halloween, all these events are coming up. Be prepared ahead of time. Maybe you ought to be right now thinking about some Halloween graphics, and that you could go out and keep in front of people. But, it's also, I'm right back to social media. You need to be seen as a source of creativity. When I do my classes, I used to collect business cards from everybody, but then they realized that I use some of their cards in upcoming classes as don't ever do this.
Yeah.
And it's that white business card with the black lettering. We're in a creative business. People expect you to be creative. They want to buy from you because you're creative. So do that in your social media and make sure that people look at you and say, wow, those guys have great ideas over there.
Yeah. So real quick, Terry, on the calendar situation too, you had mentioned, thinking about doing some Halloween stuff right now. And I mean, way I want to look at it is I want to be kind of 3 months ahead. Right. And I should be working on, so August, September, October. So there you go. So you're about 3 months ahead on the Halloween stuff right now. But I mean, don't sleep on, let's be thinking about what's coming up in the fourth quarter. We got the holidays coming up faster than you want. What happens to most of us is we go, oh yeah, we see that cool thing. And oh yeah, we should do that. And oh, well, Christmas is next week. Right.
I should have. Yeah. That's that's a lot of our business planning. I should have.
Yeah, exactly. And so, thinking about the holidays, thinking about events coming up in your town, thinking about, and then having this calendar that you put together. Terry, you mentioned social media. So this calendar is like you go back to and say, okay, today, I need to be looking out 3 months, or Even so much as, and I don't know if I got this from you or who recommended this kind of an idea, but I use it all the time, so I've taken it for my own. It is, if you have somebody that comes in that needs this rush order done for an event, well, that is a perfect customer that you can wow and make a lifelong customer. A, because you bail them out because they for whatever reason were late. So if you can bail them out and still make the kind of money that you need to make for doing that kind of a hassle job, but you should also then find out, okay, is this an annual event? Is this something that you guys do annually? And then you put that on your calendar, and then you back it up and you reach out to them a month before, 2 months before, whatever. And you start trying to find out, hey, is that person that came to me with the rush still the person in charge of this? Who's the new person? And now you're making their job easier, because now they're not going to have this last second thing going, oh crap, I need shirts. You're in front of them.
Yeah, exactly.
And so having a calendar that has all of that stuff on it, the holidays, the upcoming events locally, getting in front of, so if there's an annual 5K, at what point do you need to be reaching out to those people in your, So I think doing stuff like that is really important. And like you said, that creativity, and creativity, not only in your designs and your look and feel, which is really important, but I think just creativity in how you go to market, how you present things, how you interact. You're not copying the guy up the street's deal, you're doing things your own way, and you're confident in that, and you're creatively sharing your business with people. So
exactly.
All right. And go ahead, Terry.
Aaron, and this all comes back to building a brand. And even though our brand expert, Jay Bassell, is on vacation, he's on the beach in California right now. I'm sure right now he's like, did somebody say brand?
Probably.
But my perfect example is somebody, Aaron, you and I have met, Johnny Cupcakes. And if anybody doesn't know who Johnny Cupcakes is, I'm surprised, first of all. But it's basically every graphic is a cupcake with like crossbones underneath, and that's his logo. And it's some variation of that logo. And he's constantly coming out with new limited edition garments and sells them for about $35 a pop. And he has created a brand, and not as hard as you might think. I mean, look at his concept. He takes the exact same graphic and manipulates it 1,000 different ways, and creates a desire out there in the marketplace. Well, they're only going to sell 500 of these. I got to have one of them, and then you get the following, and then other people want to be a part of that tribe as well. So, I think it's something, especially in today's marketplace, if you can go out there and create a brand for yourself, business will come to your door.
Yeah, exactly. And I think just your brand, and I'm now borrowing from Jay, but your brand isn't, Johnny Cupcake's brand isn't the cupcake logo with the crossbones. His brand is that uniqueness that they basically were selling shirts and had people walking into their store thinking that it was a bakery, and that was their brand. Because he's kind of a little bit snarky, he's a little bit sarcastic, so his brand is his personality. Exactly. And your brand is your company's personality, and you've got a unique personality, so that's your brand. But how do you describe that brand? How do you share that brand is what becomes important. And that's how you build a brand. You don't have to be a Johnny Cupcakes and have that kind of an idea. You have to be you, and then uniquely show that you off in a way that matches who you are. So
I love the fact that Johnny Cupcakes was reviewed by a food reviewer who walked into one of his stores and was very, very upset that they did not, in fact, sell cupcakes. And the next week, that review was his shirt of the week. So
yeah, because that's just who he is. I mean, it's his personality, and it kind of, you love it. And so the people that follow him love it. I mean, we've seen pictures of people that have his logo tattooed on their body. Once you get to that point, I think you've kind of figured out your brand.
You are branded at that point in two ways. You have created a brand indeed, though.
Yeah. All right, so let's catch a couple comments here, Terry, before we get to the rest of it here. Lisa said, I recently heard from a company I hadn't heard from in over a year. Thought that they had closed up shop, so don't be that guy. You only reach out to your customers once a year. That may not, like you said, Lisa thought they closed up. So very
I thought you were dead.
Yeah, exactly. Eric says, showing work that's in a sentiment into which you want to sell is almost like social proof, and it can create FOMO, fear of missing out, for those of you that aren't familiar, in similar businesses who compete in the same category. So very good insight there, Eric. Thank you. Crystal says, I've been selling a lot of Halloween stuff already. Do you know of a good calendar or something that tells you all of these seasons ahead of time? Actually, Crystal, our success group, we do have a content calendar, 365-day content calendar. If you go to osgresources.com, it's actually always being updated as well. So I think it's a pretty worthwhile product over there. So osgresources.com, check that out. Let's see here. Todd says, don't be that person that freaks out in December because you can't find ornaments. Yep.
What?
What
do you mean you're sold out? You're not getting more?
Yeah. I don't know if you guys have seen that the trouble getting things in, it's going to be even worse this year. So ornaments will be.
Really. Right. Buy them now.
Yep. Let's see here. Lots of other good comments, but we won't be able to get to them all. But let's see here with what Brian says. We try not to overwhelm our customers when they hear from us, which should be regularly. It should be like getting a letter from an old friend. We want them to look forward to hearing from us as much as we like hearing from them. And I think this is a really good point, Brian. In fact, earlier, Jeff had said, I try not to spam my mailing list. And I think what happens here is that when we think of emails as spam emails are emails we don't want to get. So the emails that are spam, I mean, I know there are emails that I get that I'm on a list for that I get every single day. I get an email from them every single day. And that is not spam to me because I want to get that email. But I get other emails from people that maybe only send me an email once every couple months. But there's no value to me in that. So that is spam to me. I don't hit the spam button typically. I do email marketing too. I just unsubscribe, but I think there is something to be said about that. How often you send your emails, I don't think make any difference at all. I think if your people that are signed up on your email list are getting a consistently valuable email that again, entertainment, information, sharing value. I mean, there's an email that I'm on that I get every day that is just a coupon. It's a daily coupon code. I don't use it all the time, but I certainly stay on that email list because it's a product and service that is enough value to me that occasionally I'm going to want to use their coupon code. There are others where, I was getting a weekly coupon. It just didn't work for me, so I unsubscribed. So I don't think it has anything to do with how often you send. Obviously, you do want to be in touch with them, like Brian says, hearing from an old friend. They want people to look forward to hearing from you. But I think people say, oh, well, if I just send too many emails, it's going to be spam. No, some people might unsubscribe, and that's fine. You actually should want people to unsubscribe because you want to just have people on your list that want to get them. Right. But if you're having more people unsubscribe than you're getting new, then you got to figure out what's the value that I'm bringing to the people that are signing up and find that way to make that balance. So, and
if that same email over and over and over again, that's spam too, Yeah. Okay. I got it last time. Yeah. I understand. You have to say
exactly. Yeah.
Now for any of our listeners, by the way, Brian commented about getting a letter from an old friend. That box in the front of your house or down at the corner where you get your Costco coupons and things like that. You used to get letters from people. It was almost like an email, but it's in an envelope.
It may have been written with a pen.
Exactly. So just for reference sake, it has a stamp on it.
Oh man, are we really at that point, Terry, where we have to
Possibly? I don't know.
I don't know.
I will guarantee you, we have listeners who have never gotten a letter from an old friend.
All right. I can. Yeah, I can see that. Okay. Well, thank you for clarifying that. Eric says, lead with value, know your audience, consider their utility first. Eric Mickelson says, quality marketing versus quantity. Make sure that email hits your target market. Don't send safety shirts to a doctor's office. Absolutely. Ramona says, I got a letter 2 weeks ago. It was awesome. There you go.
It had been lost in the mail for 27 years, but yeah, it's
exactly.
It finally showed up.
Yeah, you're very welcome, Brian. Yeah, I know you guys know what you're doing, so appreciate you sharing with that. Okay, what else do we have here, Terry? What other keys here?
Well, we have that single customer. We have that customer that buys quantity from us. We have the customer who a retailer, schools, clubs, teams that we work with. So we also want to keep in the forefront with them. We want to have that continued relationship. Maybe offer ways for them to sell more product, to sell more efficiently. Maybe one of the things that we share with them is how to understand and develop online stores. They know they want to have an online store, right? But they don't know where to start. Maybe we come in and help them with things like, and I'll give you an example. We were talking about Kim earlier. She'll do stores for people and look at it and go, man, they could sell a lot more if they added this, this, and this. So she'll come back and say, how about if we put this on your store also? And already have created the graphic, already created, what garment it's going to be. And then of course, as always, because we have the experience, all of a sudden that one really takes off. And that customer is very appreciative because she or we have stepped in to say, let's make this better. Let me help you to do this. And I know we're getting short on time. I'm going to bring up Jay Bassell again. His idea back 18 months ago when all this started is sending out a care package to your customers that basically says, I'm thinking about you. Maybe it's got hand sanitizer in it. Maybe it's got a water bottle, refillable water bottle, but with their logo on it or something like that. So basically things that you can do to keep yourself in front of your customer, keep your company in their mind for when they are ready to place an order, where they are ready to buy something.
Yeah. All right. Well, Terry, let's do this. Let's leave it on a little bit of a cliffhanger here because we are running out of time. And Eric had a good point, potential two-parter. In fact, a text message that I was just receiving. I think we can actually finish this off next week because I think just in breaking news, changing dates. Still trying to. So I'll talk a little bit more about it at the end here, but I think we can do this two-parter. The other thing I wanted to get in here. Adam Fuller, every time you brought up Jay, he did comment, tacos. So when you want to talk about branding.
Exactly right.
Yep. Jay Bassell, when you say
that
Jay
says
Bassell,
everything, right?
Tacos, exactly. Yep. So we will come back, Terry, next week, and I think we can kind of restart here if that works, and kind of get into the second part. So a little cliffhanger for you guys, but I think well worth it. So we can come back next week. Kathleen did ask, but how to not look like junk mail. When Eric had mentioned targeted direct mail is making a big comeback versus email. People don't get U.S. mail anymore. So I think that also something that we can we'll put on the list for next week as well to kind of cover that. And anything else, Terry, that we can share here before? I think maybe 5 things, huh?
I think it's time for 5 things.
Okay. All right. Well, let's do that. Eric, bring us into 5 things here, please, sir. All right. Well, I'm going to go ahead and share 5 things here, Terry, if that's all right with you.
Absolutely.
This is from our good friend, Lisa Shaw. And Lisa shared this with us. She emailed it over to info@tworegularguys.com. So if you'd like to do the same, please do. We love having 5 things from listeners and all of our friends out there. So this is 5 things we do after returning from a trade show. Number 1, laundry. I swear it multiplies in my suitcase. Number 2, reach out to everyone you said that you would contact with information about your products, area of expertise, or resources. Get in touch. That's a great one. Number 3, research things that triggered ideas. This is where Terry came in because I was intrigued by the coastal white toner printer and the whole sublimation thing and its process on fabric, which made me think of DTG and screen printing. I think I know someone who can shed some light on this. So she knows a guy, Terry.
Everybody needs to know a guy.
Yeah, you need to know a guy. All right. Number 4, head to social media and connect and follow with those that you met. Awesome idea. Awesome tip. Number 5, make notes on the event to share with the show promoter, from hiccups to wins to ideas for future events. Shows can only get better with constructive communication. I think constructive being the key term there. So that's number 5. And bonus number 6, did she mention laundry? Yes, laundry. I've got stacks of laundry right now. So there we go. Thank you, Lisa.
Back from our road warrior days, right?
Yep, exactly. Yeah, so thanks so much, Lisa, for submitting those 5 things.
Excellent.
And again, if you guys have 5 things, just email us info@2regularguys.com or tag us on social media at 2regularguys.com. And Ramona even has a bonus number 7 for us. Take a nap.
Put your feet up. Yeah.
Yeah. So the big book of travels, still the big book of travels. What's happening out there?
So far, so good. My screen printing class in Atlas Screen Supply in Chicago, August 21st and 22nd is sold out. So my next event in Chicago, my next screen printing class is November 6th and 7th. I will be in DAX Chicagoland on August 27th. I'm doing an 8:30 till noon seminar. Am I doing this right? Pro tips for screen printing. And as we're coming into fall, I'm afraid to say, my next screen printing class with WorkHard Products in Phoenix is October 23rd and 24th. And I'm going to announce it now. It's starting to fill up. So you can find all my upcoming events at terrycombs.com. How about you, Aaron?
Yeah, check out terrycombs.com. Well, we've been fortunate to get to talk to people at the DAX shows about our new 5 keys of business success, growing and launching. It's a online training and resources and modules and action items. And so all the things you need to grow and launch your business. And it's had a lot of fanfare. So in Minnesota, people were really excited about what it can do for their business. We were told that the help it would provide in just the pricing was worth the introductory price of $197. But you also get training and resources to help determine and manage your overhead. You also get the training and resources to set up workflows so you can kind of get your time back and you're not printing at all hours of the night. We also share a key of creating loyal fans through a customer service plan and then building a marketing strategy that will work as opposed to the typical marketing strategies of most people, which is the spray and pray method. We actually have a process method to do that. So you can check that out at oursuccessgroup.com/5 keys. And then speaking of our success group stuff, Terry, August 11th, I believe it is, next Wednesday, is going to be in our success group members training opportunity. We do bi-weekly training for our members. And this particular week, it's going to be the good, the bad, and the ugly of DTF transfer systems. So Todd Downing, our co-founder over at our success group, has done all of the homework and has a DTF transfer system and has got new equipment coming in and all that stuff. So he's knee deep in it and he knows all of the. So we're gonna give you the dirt, like I said, the good, the bad, and the ugly. And just share, where it fits, where it doesn't fit, how it can work for you. You're going to get all the information you'd ever want about DTF transfer systems. So if you are interested in becoming a member, you can check that out at oursuccessgroup.com/members. We've got a monthly option or an annual option. You can sign up for the monthly option and cancel at any time. So if that's, maybe that's just all you're looking for. When you sign up as a member, you actually get access while you're a member to all of our past trainings. So there's about 50 training courses in there right now that you get access to. Plus then you'll have access to all the live and upcoming training. So that is happening next Wednesday. And then let's see what else is on the schedule here. On October 20th at 1 p.m. Central Time, my wife and I are going to be presenting through our success group a program called Breaking Through Limiting Beliefs. It's a 60-minute session where we'll talk about some powerful resources to identify and then overcome and empower people to more joy and success. We're going to have an early bird price for this particular event of $29, and it will be limited as far as how many people we can take. It'll be a Zoom meeting, and so it'll be online. And we'll have details up, and you'll be able to register by this Sunday. But in the meantime, to get on the mailing list so you can make sure that you get your spot for this, it'll be at oursuccessgroup.com/empower. You can just get on our mailing list there. And then as soon as we have that available to be able to purchase, you can you'll get the email with that information. So check that out. Real excited about doing that. Something we're going to try to do monthly. So if the timing doesn't work, that August 20th is a Friday. So Friday afternoon after two regular guys, and you'll have an opportunity to spend some time with us breaking through limiting beliefs. So I'm looking forward to that. And then last thing for me, Terry, coming up at 11:30 in what, about 24 minutes. my quick math is not good, but 24 minutes from now, Eric and I will be doing the half, and it's 30 minutes of Q&A, specifically 30 minutes. We don't go over, and you can find that at liveosg.com, which gets you to the Our Success Group YouTube page, or while on YouTube, you can search for ericcampbell.com. Or if you're a Facebook person that would rather watch on Facebook, you can do so at facebook.com/Our Success Group Pro, or again, search for Eric Campbell, ERICH Campbell on Facebook as well. So that's what's coming up. Terry, you want to share what Eric has coming up here?
Yeah, you can join Eric today at 2:30 Mountain Daylight Time for the Take Up. Today, it's evergreen topics and trends in machine embroidery with news from the shows and a discussion of the rising tides, as well as things that always find their way back into embroidery and education. Head over to ericcampbell.com and click the Take Up tab at the top of the playlist. Eric also, his Understanding Emblems, Digitizing Production Styles and Sales is now available as a recording, and you can check that out at decorators.education/emblems. And Eric will be teaching the Elevate Your Embroidery Digitizing Workshop. He already did it at Dax, Minnesota. It'll be Dax Chicagoland. Get details at daxshow.com. And he will also be appearing at the Impressions Expo Fort Worth to teach specialty thread design, digitizing, and marketing, and appear at the Elements of Excellent Embroidery panel. So that's what Eric is up to, and I'm sure there are many more that he's going to be adding to that list.
Keeping busy as usual, Eric. So definitely check all that out. All right, Terry. Well, great show, and thanks for all that information. Looking forward to continuing part 2 next week, but thanks to Terry and Eric for all of the great information, and thanks for you guys being here, all the regulators joining in and sharing your information as well.
Absolutely, and look forward to finishing that up next week. We also want to thank our show producer, Eric Campbell, for all he's doing out back there behind the scenes. You guys can't see him, but we can, and he's working hard every Friday.
Yeah, we really appreciate it, Eric. So we had on the schedule next week, Katie Wubin with Trouble Me Not. And right in the middle of the show, actually early on the start of the show, I got a text message from her saying, "Hey, can we move that?" And so we
Did she
are.
just realize it was Friday the 13th and she just didn't feel comfortable doing it?
Yeah, exactly. When I talked to her about it at the show, I told her it was Friday the 13th, and she's like, "Oh, I don't know." And I'm like, "Hey, I was born on Friday the 13th, so check it out." And but Katie will be coming up soon. I think we're now looking at the 20th, but worked out perfectly because now we'll be able to wrap up the second part of this building relationships episode. And so I'm looking forward to that, Terry. So great job. And nice job today.
All right. Until then, I'm Terry Combs. He's Aaron Montgomery.
And we are the Two Regular Guys.
Here we go. We're out.
Awesome.
Thank you for listening to Two Regular Guys. Check out our website at tworegularguys.com. That's the number 2, regularguys.com. You can also interact with us over at our Facebook page, facebook.com/tworegularguys, or send us a tweet, twitter.com/tworegularguys. And we have a YouTube page. You can find all that from our website, tworegularguys.com. Thanks for tuning in, and we look forward to spending some time with you again next week.